Amanda here from DMG, and today we're going to be taking a look at Future Press's Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree strategy guide, and this is book 3 in the series that they've done for Elden Ring. Book 1 and 2 are for the main game, and this is for the DLC. If you want to see my reviews of the other 2 books, I will link those in for you at the end of the video. Okay, so as always with these books and from Future Press, we've got beautiful quality print and artwork here on the front. The artwork obviously courtesy, I guess, of FromSoft, but the reproduction of it is really good. We've got the title, and it makes a note that this is volume 3, so with the volume 1 and 2 it all matches here on the side as well, so when you put them on your bookshelf, if you're standing them up, they all look really, you know, neat together and they work well together, and it just is a really nice set. The actual cover, lovely hardback, so really good quality. And then inside, something I didn't realise we were getting, it may have said but I didn't particularly notice, is this lovely poster. And this is the full width of it, but that's only 1/3 of the actual height of it. It's impossible for me to show all of it to you on here. And also, to be honest, I think it's partly a map, or if not entirely a map, so I don't want to give anything away. With all of these book reviews, I do my very best not to give any spoilers, so we start at beginnings of chapters, so that anything you do see, obviously there will be some stuff that you're going to see, but if I keep to the beginning of the chapters, hopefully that will be stuff that you're going to come to almost immediately, and therefore it's not going to give anything away. However, there is a caveat to that with this book. This is the DLC, so there may be differences in the fact that even though it's the beginning of the chapter, this is the additional content, so I don't know how that reflects and relates to the main game, whether it's completely independent, whether it kind of intersperses. So just be aware that you may want to just be cautious, but I will do my best. I haven't played the main game either, so I'm going to be wanting to be careful about what I see too. So we will do our best not to give any major spoilers away. So enough chit chat, let's get on into the actual book itself. So we're just starting off with a blank page and then introduction, and then we've got our index. But first of all, just to show you, you can see from the shine that it's coated cards paper, and nice quality, not too thin, not too thick, just really nice quality. And again, just the quality of the print and the artwork there, you can see the detail and the quality is really good. And if you look at the font and the clarity of it, it's a really good print. It's not cheaply done or anything, so it's, the whole book is definitely, as always from Future Press, is really good quality. So on this side we're starting off with the legend for the maps, so it's just telling us, you know, all the different icons and what they are going to stand for, and you can see the different colours and all the different things they are, and as I showed you just now, there was the artwork. And then on this side we have got volume 3 overview, and then a more detailed table of contents. So what this does is basically we have the overview, which says, okay, chapter 1 world guide, and then a description of what that is. So just as an example, this chapter showcases the game's geographical regions, highlighting interesting destinations, etc, etc. So I won't read every bit because again, you can, I don't want to spoil it for you. If you get the book, you can read it, but you get the idea. So there's a description there. So we've got world guide, dungeon guide, bestiary, armaments, I can never say that word, and equipment, quest guide and extras. So then when we go over to the table of contents, we have, for example, chapter 1 world guide, and then this time what it does is it literally is like a table of contents, so it will say the name of an area, what page it's on, etc. So Land of the Tower, page 54. So it goes through that. Then dungeon guide, etc. So there's all different things, you know, in more detail. And here under equipment, we've got, you know, different types of swords and what pages they are on, which I don't think is hugely giving anything away by showing you that. So that's just an example. So you've got here chapter 4 and then the details. So that's on there. So that tells us what's in this book as well. So that's quite handy. This is the introduction. So it's basically saying, you know, setting the stage. So it's saying expanding upon Elden Ring's original story, this new chapter takes place in, and I won't go into details because I don't want to, as I say, make any spoilers. I think that's going to be like my thing. Just assume that all the way through, because otherwise I think I'm just going to be like a record on repeat saying that. And then how to get in there. So how to actually get the DLC working, I guess. Yes, so it says how to enter that realm. And then new progression systems, so different things that are different from the original story. And then it's talking about, I think this is like leveling up, and it's just giving some actual stats on that and what you need. And then again, some little pictures and things at the bottom, and a little creature, and just bits and pieces to look at. And then New Game Plus, read, and it explains what this is. I think this is to do with when you do New Game Plus, the stats that you carry over vary depending upon certain factors, and this is just explaining what those different factors are. So then over here we've got navigating that new realm, and it's got details about that and the differences there, and what these things mean. So we've got images that are looking at that. It's very difficult with this because you just don't know what you're giving away. And then it's talking about dungeons, new combat mechanics. So I guess that's kind of things that are different from the previous part of the main game. And then buffs and debuffs. So just very close just on that, so you can just see, for example, just the kind of thing that how it sets them out. So it shows you a little picture and goes from there. And then we're on to chapter 2, and this beautiful artwork, again, stunning. And the quality, as I keep saying, is really, really nice. So this is the world guide, and it's saying that you get an entire new world to explore. And then we get into the actual using of the world guide. As they often do in these books, they explain how you need to go about it. So they give you the page as an example there, and then they'll say, you know, for example here, that part is the numbers, the step numbers. This is the legend. Here's the route idea, or waypoints and area markers, etc. So I think there's quite a lot of info there just on how the actual pages are set out and what information you'll get on those pages, so you know what your each element's for and what it does. And then we've got what I guess is an overall world map of the area, and I'm hoping it's not too clear, but it gives you an idea. I think that it's probably pretty vast. So if we just go to the first bit here, and this one is the gravesite plain. I don't know if you can quite see that there, but I'm just trying to get closer. But the gravesite plain is this section here. That's the gravesite plain as well, so maybe it's that one. Oh, it might be that. I think it must be, looking at the colours, that it is that section there. That bit is that bit there. And then there's your key. And then, I mean, you can see, just looking at this map, the amount of numbers there are of things to look at. Again, I'm not going to go specifically down here as to what those are, but it looks like, yeah, here it's got number 1, so you can find number 1 there, but you can also then find it on here somewhere, there. So that little bit there is 1 to 5, so it's that section there. So that's that bit down to there. So it's all that section there by the look of it. So again, you're getting a lot of detail, and then it's going into, right, number 1, wherever it was, number 1 there. And then it tells you all about it here. It's got some pictures of different things, that's number 2, etc. So it's got a lot of information about each section. I'm sorry I'm being slightly vague as I'm talking. I didn't want to look through it in advance because I didn't want to give anything away to myself either, and I'm trying to be careful what I look at without giving things away to any of us. So we can see there's the next one, there's 5, which was up here, so that comes in there, and you can see that this is the next part, so that carries on. And there's more. Oh, here we go, look. So then number 10 here is a specific place, so we've got a much more detailed type map of that particular, they call that, saying that's a jail. So I mean, I'm not really giving anything away with that. And then they go through here and give you a much more detailed look, and it looks like they give you a potential route as well. I'll just show you this bit, which really doesn't give anything much away, but it'll just show you the kind of detail that we're getting. So that's this section. I'm just looking, yes, down the side we have got, I don't know if you can see because the light is so bright. It's kind of like, you need it bright so that I can show you stuff, but so you can see there it says the name of the gravesite plane, and it's sort of in bold, and I think you can just see like there's like a little point there, and each part here is another section, another area, and so it gives you an idea where to go for each bit, I believe. So then also down the side you can see these different colours. I'm hoping you can. They're actually really delicate even to the naked eye, but they are there. So that's just separating each chapter to make it easier to find. I would say that's probably just a little faint, to be honest. Even when I do that and you can see it a bit better, you can see that one really easily, but the others, they are quite delicate, and that's not as easy as it could be. So this section carries on exactly the same all the way forward. I'm not going to show you the latter end of that, obviously. Then we get to the dungeon guide, and again we've got beautiful artwork, and it's just talking about obviously the dungeons, and for that again we've got the understanding the page, then we've got the map. It's just showing, I think, where the different dungeons are, I guess, on the main map. Again, unless I looked in detail I wouldn't know, but it looks like it because there's the name of one of them, and that's the first one that comes up. So again, as the page description guide tells us, we've got the overview, the name of it, the map. I'll just show you one section that hopefully it's not giving away too much. But you can see kind of the detail there. Again, really crisp print as well. And then obviously we've got items and enemies, etc. And then that continues on. Maybe some little different levels. And then we go on to the next area. Or next dungeon, I should say. No, this is still part of this. So there are different areas within this dungeon which it then goes into more detail on. So we've got a map here that's more specific. So that's the Tower Settlement, which is here in the middle here, and then there's some close-ups there of the map, but then we get a much more detailed look. And also we've got some artwork and some numbers which correspond, I guess, with the numbers over here. So it gives you information about each section there. And just carrying on. And again, they've got down the side the little sub key, as it were, as well. I think that's still part of it. Yeah, this is all still part of it. So that's quite a big section as well. So that's that one. I didn't show you the other one. That was all of that. So those are those first two sections. Then we've got the Bestiary. So basically all our beasts and enemies for this particular section, you know, for the DLC. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it comes with the beautiful ribbon in gold. So in here again we've got using the chapter, and then we have the actual, I think this must be the first one, so it's probably quite a minor one. Yeah, common foe, so that's a good one for us to look at. So we've got an image, we've got their status ailments, resistances, damage resistances, some further images, strategy, well, about them, strategy, the different kinds, so there'd be slightly different variations of that enemy, so just details on that. Does it go over? Yes. And then we've got the various locations that we'll find them, the things that they will drop, more variations of them, all the way across to here. And then we've got the next one, so I cover him up so we don't see what he is. So they're starting the next one here, and then that will go on to the next page. So that's just information about all the different enemies, and that goes on. Oh, that was handy, look at that. That goes on to all of that. And then we have basically weapons. I can't say that word, so I'm not even going to try. I don't know why. It's one of those words that's just a tongue twister. I can't even say tongue twister today. Tongue twister to me. So weapons and equipment. And again, beautiful. Look at the colours in that. It's stunning. So the first section is on weapons and shields, and we've got how we use this section. It looks like it's kind of a smaller box rather than a whole page for each one, which makes more sense. Actually, we can kind of, I think, I don't know. No, that's not started yet. And then it tells us, you know, weapon type, item description, the effects, where you get it, etc., etc. So lots of information, etc. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. And then further information, affinity and upgrade data, critical hits, enchants, lots of different things, and then a nice picture at the bottom there as well. So turning over, so the first page, pretty simple weapons, so I think we were okay to show you this so you can get an idea. The first one is daggers, and you've got that paragraph sort of with a general kind of description. Then you've got the stats section for each specific type of dagger, and sorry, as I said, the lights have to be bright, but then you can't see them stuff all the time. And the scaling, the attack, affinity, etc. So it just gives you a lot of stats and information. It also tells you where you can find them, those specific weapons. If we look down the side, we've got weapons and shields, armour, talismans, sorcery, incantations, ashes of war, unique skills, spirit ashes, and items. So those are the different sections. So here is armour. So it's slightly different layout. They explain again how they are using that section. So if we look at this one, it gives you each part of the armour the different stats regarding it, effects, acquisition, etc. I'm deliberately not unshading that in a way so that some of the writing's not obvious to you, but you can get an idea of the layout. Again, I feel like a broken record, but hopefully it gives you enough of an idea of what the book is like without giving you too many spoilers. So there's a whole heap of stuff about your armour. So then we got talismans. So again, that's laid out very slightly differently using the section and how it's all set out, and all the different things about it, exactly the same. And then again, just hopefully not showing too much. There it is there. So it's just setting out a talisman, its value, its weight, description, effect, and how you get it. So each one of those is a different one. Sorceries. So again, how to use that page, the spell section, and different sorceries and all the stats regarding that. So you've got that type of sorceries, information about it, a lovely picture, and then at the side we've got the statistics, the specific thing, information about it, cast functions, requirement, FP, stamina, poise, and acquisition. So you've got all of that, and again setting out. Oh no, they haven't. So I guess it's the same as sorceries, incantations, in the use of it. So they've gone straight into incantations, and again, there's your first one, information about it, and then the stats about specific parts of within that, I guess, Erdtree incantations. And then we've got something called Ashes of War, which I guess if you've used the main game you probably know what that means, but on this one they've set it out again how to use this skills section, and then they've set out standard, and then we've got the stats here. So we've got information under standard, and then we've got various standard ones, compatible affinities. So that's what that means apparently. So I'm assuming again, if you've played the main game, that probably would mean something to you. It would make sense. So then they've laid that all out for the various ones. Unique skills, I'm going to cover that up because that's the last page of the Ashes of War, and I don't know if it makes any difference with these, whether they're in any particular order of, you know, rarity or anything. But we've got unique skills. It goes straight into what these things are. So here it's straight swords. Again, I guess that's general information, and then specifics. So acquisition and what it does, attack type, effect. I think that's like a general kind of description, and that's more specific, you know, like what the buff is, etc. Okay, spirit ashes, again using this section. So it just, as before, it just explains how to use the section. There seems to be, like here, a general description, I can't speak today, of standard ashes, and then the actual specific standard ash that it's talking about, and it's got the behaviour of it, a general kind of, I think this might be the description that's in the game itself as well, the way it's written. Does it say? Yeah, it says in-game description. There you go. It just, the way it was worded, it kind of sounded like that. And then we've got acquisition, and then the statistics on that, and resistances, etc. So that's lots of info, and then another really cool picture at the bottom there as well. So hopefully you can, I don't want to, if I show you the example, that's probably, there we go, and that goes on. I'm going to cover that one up as well because that's the final spirit ashes. And then the last part of this section is items. Again, we've got about this section, and it's again, a specific item. So the example they've got here is scorpion stew, and it's got the maximum that you can carry, the FB cost, the sell value, description, effect, crafting, purchase, acquire, where you can acquire it, what you can use it for. So lots of info in this little box, really. And here, the first section is tools. And so we've got, for example, recovery and utility items, so a general description of that. And then we've got a little picture of our lulling branch, and then a description, and then that little box that I was telling you about. So it's got the little picture that I guess is what goes in the game. What goes in the game? That's in the game. Then that information that we discussed. So items is actually probably the biggest section of this part of the book. Then we have quest guide, and it just talks about, I guess it's saying, it's talking about the fact that it's less populated, but there's lots of NPCs that you can get quests from. I'm assuming that's what it's saying. This chapter will reveal each of their quests in full detail. So we don't have a how to use it page on this one, so we're going straight into the actual quest list here. So what it's saying, as far as it does, I don't think it is anyway. No. So it's talking about a flowchart here outlines a simplified path of progression for the loyalist quests in order to see each one through to completion. Oh, you meet this person, and then it tells you the page, event 1, what page to go to. Page 359, for example, event 1. I don't know who that person is or anything, but let's have a look. 359, and that's here. So then it has that specific NPC and information about them, the events, the dialogue, etc. that's relevant to that person. Here, I guess, I don't really, at the moment, I'm not really sure I understand. I think it would require some reading and looking. I'm not quite sure how this part relates to further on, but clearly this is a shortened version, and I think what it's saying is follow this to get through all of these NPCs events most efficiently, or quests, and then by doing that you can then go into the more detail here, as I am understanding it anyway. So start with this person, event 1, page 346, which is here. I think that's what it is anyway. I mean, I think that will require some reading. This clearly is like a short roadmap, as it were, and this is the more detailed version that you then refer to as you go through this. But without reading it in detail, which obviously I don't want to do at this point, it's hard to tell. But I think that's what it's saying. So again, I don't want to see a lot of that. So then we go to, that's all of that chapter. So that's all our quest guides. And then we've got extras, and it says, for those who seek to optimise their path or take undue pleasure in perfecting the arts of battle, this chapter will serve to inspire and educate. Paths of progression through these lands are laid out before you, and you can pick a bounty of equipment, and the pick of the bounty of equipment is showcased in the form of highly synergised builds dedicated to pushing the limits of power in combat. I mean, I slightly shortened that, but essentially. So again, I think this is like your flowchart thing that you can do different, and as you do different things, it's giving you, if you do this, you again could go there, or you could go there, or whatever. I think that's how that's generally working. So it says Shadow of the Erdtree start. So that's where we talked about at the beginning on the map. And it's suggesting that there's potentially 2 or 3 options, maybe even more. So several options from that, and then depending which option you take, so if you went that way, you'd end up here, and then you could do that, or you could go down there. So it's giving you that sort of flow of what you could do if you wanted to use that. And then these are recommended paths. So you've got a general recommended path, a path for magic or sorcery builds, etc. So there's those different builds. So then we've got the next section, because this is extras, so this is different to the bit that we just looked at. This is your blessings guide, and it says it's a handy map and guide for acquiring all of blah and blah. Again, I don't want to say specifics of what that is, but they've marked it up. They've explained here what those things are, and then you can, you know, put the number with the item. And then I think this is like a section of the big map, and then these are more sections with more keys down the bottom. More of the key. Then we've got Shadow of the Erdtree builds. So we've got a strength build. So I guess this is just helping you to make that, you know, what would you want to do that to acquire a good strength build, etc. Dexterity, intelligence, blah, blah, blah. So all kind of where you'd go if you wanted to have a specific build, but you wanted some advice on that. And it even has hybrid builds as well, which is kind of cool. And then we've got a concept art work gallery, which is pretty amazing. This is incredible, beautiful. I won't show you all the pages because part of the beauty of seeing this is being able to look at it yourself. So again, where does that go up to? That seems to go to there. So you've got quite a lot of pages. So again, as I say, I won't show you all of them because if you do get the book, then, you know, you want the pleasure of seeing it for yourself, not me showing you each page. And then finally we have index is plural, various indexes. So we've got locations, what those locations are and where you can find them in the book, I guess, the page, yeah. Bestiary, it's got enemy category as well here. It's got regular with a little grey dot, a little diamond, strong, little blue one, boss, major boss. So that's quite helpful. And actually here we've got overworld, overworld with map, dungeon with map. So there's little colour coding on this one as well. I'm deliberately not coming down on this so that you don't get to see the names, because I don't know if any of this would, as I say before, give anything away. So then we've got some nice pictures on here as well, if you can see that beautiful artwork. Then we've got weapons and shields. No sort of further categorization on those ones. Armour and talismans. So lots of different types of indexes here. We've got sorceries, ashes of war, spirit ashes, and items. Always a handy one, I think, items. And NPCs, also another handy one. And it's just giving the page number where you can find them. So if you come across a particular NPC or you want a particular item and you're like, oh, I really want that, where the heck was it? You know, then I guess you can look it up and find it for yourself here. The items also are in alphabetical order, which is good. And then your NPCs. And then finally, just credit and thanks at the end. And that is it. And then the back page, just the final, obviously, Elden Ring symbol. And that is it. So I hope you have enjoyed taking a look at this with me, and I hope you found it helpful. As I said, I will link the other two for you so that you will be able to see all three if you haven't already watched them. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed, and if you haven't already, I'd love it if you could subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Thanks a lot, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.